Now we're gonna try this again. For the guy who commented and said he didn't come to my channel to see character caricatures, leave my channel because first off, nobody tell me what to do. This is my channel. I don't get paid for this. He is exactly the reason why I started a Patreon. The reason I started a Patreon was because people are just here for the neon stuff, the sizzle. They want to appear like they know the sport of boxing without putting an apprenticeship into it, without actually studying film, learning from the old time trainers. I bet you he don't even know who Georgie Benton is, but he's ready to for me to give him knowledge. So unsubscribe from my page. I don't even want to give you knowledge. People like you is what's wrong with the sport. If you go to a fight, uh, Hagler versus Hearns, that fight was short, right? The highlights for that fight has more views than the fight, and the fight was short. That's the problem with boxing. That's the problem with boxing right there. Fans are just so vitiated on sensationalism that they just got to have it, and it has to be quick. They have the attention span of a goldfish. They can't focus for more than 4 or 5 minutes. You don't. You're Jake Paul fans. You don't belong in the sport of boxing. Go watch something. There's 1,000 boxing channels. Go to somebody else, and they won't give you the mental side of boxing and how to prepare you to actually go into combat in a fight. You guys don't want to learn how to box. You want to learn how to whoop somebody's ass, and there's a difference. There's a difference. There's an art and a purity to fighting. The sport of boxing is messed up, but the actual boxing, the process is actually good. So yeah, man, I had to get that off my chest. That really ran me hot that he's on my page telling me what to do. Well, leave. You don't like it, leave. You're not gonna dictate. You have a YouTube account. Start your own account. Simple as that. But before I get into this video, man, I just wanted to say, before I got into boxing, I studied the sport for maybe like 2 or 3 years, learning from watching everything on Customato, Freddie Roach, Georgie Benton, all these guys, all these old school trainers, learning different tricks. But the philosophical side is only one part of the stuff. It can only get you so far. You have to actually go out there and actually do the boxing. The boxing is where you're going to make your living. The reason why I suspected Anthony Joshua might lose to Usyk is because he said he was doing mental training, and it's like you make your living inside the ring. Do some sparring. There's nothing you could prepare for better for a fight than sparring. If you had a list of everything you could do, jump rope, skip rope, study film, all this stuff, and sparring was on the list, sparring would get you ready for a fight. You could not do all the rest of the stuff and just spar constantly, and you'll be ready for the fight because you need a big physical body up in there, press it up against yours. And when you learn how to fight when you're tired, because when you hit the bag, what a lot of mistakes beginners do is they'll hit the bag, rest, hit the bag, rest. Your opponent's not going to let you rest. So when you throw your combination, something's coming back. So you got to do defensive moves after you throw your combination, or just when you're working the heavy bag, just get used to punching and then moving and punching again, because boxing is like dancing. You have a partner in there, and they're not gonna allow you to do something to them, and there's no return. Even Peter McNeely, when he fought Mike Tyson, he returned some punches, even though he knew it was a good chance he'd get knocked out. I mean, you're in there with live opposition. Um, I just got news that Tyson Fury I normally don't report the news, but Tyson Fury and Dylan White fight is on, and everybody's excited. Didn't Anthony Joshua knock out Dylan White? Why he don't get credit for that? Anyway, my video that's dropping at 12 p.m. tomorrow, you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a great video. It's pertaining things like that, about how Anthony Joshua doesn't get respect for stuff that other people do. Like they gave Wilder respect for knocking out the Brazil the way he did. Anthony Joshua knocked him out also, and they didn't say a word about it. It was like expected. A lot of people don't like AJ, and I have absolutely no idea why. He deserves respect. He's a true champion. But that video is dropping at 12 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in for it. As far as this video that I'm about to play, it's about confidence, man. You need confidence in the sport of boxing. You can't do anything without confidence. You need to relax and have confidence. So check this video out, man. I think this is one of the best videos on YouTube. So check them out.
Ed, short for Edward, is a heavyweight boxing champion, physics and electrical engineering student, devoted chess player with a flair for poetry. Quite the combination. In this short book, he defines confidence as the belief that you will succeed in your endeavors. Whatever tight spot you find yourself in, whatever life throws at you, you know you're going to figure it out. I've personally always seen confidence as self-trust, which builds on self-respect or self-love and makes way for self-reliance. See Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay. Respecting yourself means setting boundaries, accepting your flaws, accepting that you're a human being prone to error, and seeing your self-worth. You do not tolerate mistreatment. Our minds are so powerful that if we let others treat us like trash and call us names, we might just believe we deserve no better. The result is often very ugly and unpleasant. Not only might we not value our own lives, but develop a sinister kind of self-hatred. I'm speaking from experience since I have had a very narcissistic and abusive father. Having no father in your life is bad. Having mine, I assure you, is worse. It is hard to admit that during my development, my confidence was below zero. My voice had been silenced, my self-image was crushed, and I had no idea what else to do but outlast all the abuse. I'm reminded of Franz Kafka and the crippling relationship he had with his father. I had been robbed of my ability to put up a fight. I was too scared to stand up for myself, since in a previous incident, when I reached a boiling point, my fighting back had only made it worse. I assume some people knew and could have helped, but part of human nature is being preoccupied with one's own life. I had to help myself. Based on those years, I think life is not enjoyable without confidence, without audacity, without boldness. You can have too much of a good thing, sure, but when you don't believe in yourself, and this includes having a healthy amount of ego and narcissism, life sucks. I went from being anxious to fearless, with a shift in mind and paradigm, which is conscious thought and a multitude of habits. Things you do without thinking about them, the subconscious. I had to realign my thoughts, words, and actions to be congruent with those of a go-getter, a hustler, someone who takes life by the horns and gets what he wants. I took up martial arts classes, learned how to fight, how to protect myself. I started lifting weights, developed discipline, built momentum. You look good, you feel good, as Ed would say. I had higher testosterone, women were in my life, perhaps I developed a bit of arrogance, and even club bouncers were being overly respectful with me now. It is quite a different world. I wake up and feel like I can do anything, excited for all the challenges I will face today. I sincerely want this worldview to be your reality as well. Whatever battles you've had to or are about to fight, you're still here. You're not a quitter. Why stop now? Love and respect yourself and handle your life. Nobody else will do it for you. Hopefully, you'll take something from this video that will help you develop the confidence of a mentally undefeated champion like Ed Lattimore. In this short book, Ed writes about confidence in the process, in the instruction, in the past, and in learning. These are the 4 confidences, the 4 truths of confidence that you can always look to for reassurance, the laws of confidence that help you build yourself up in times of doubt, facing resistance. Confidence in the process. When you start out insecure, feeling weak like I have felt, you still have faith, hope. Life will get better. No matter how many times I felt hopeless, that faith, that belief that one day this will all have been worth it kept coming back to me, and it turned out to be true. I am so glad I didn't give up. Improvement is a process, a journey, a climb, a lane, whatever metaphor you like best. It takes going from one place to another, and only you can get yourself there. Your self-doubt will try to get in your way. It is imperative to trust the process. You will improve, the quality of your life will increase. Don't quit. Allegedly, heaven and hell is experienced on earth. Beautiful quote by Winston Churchill. When you're going through hell, keep going. Why? So you would eventually see the end of it one day. Nothing good will come from giving up on yourself. Ed says furthermore, success is never an accident. Millionaires don't stumble ass backwards into money. Athletes don't get to be first by chance. People don't just get lucky and get what they want out of the blue. There's a process everyone goes through. Might be a different one for you and me, but you're not going to get around work. Have faith in doing the work, and soon you will see positive results. Confidence in the instruction. Coaches, trainers, mentors, and teachers have so many years ahead of you in the very specific fields you want to excel at. You will learn at a quicker pace, you will learn more in depth, you cut all the nonsense because real instructors know what works and what is merely rubbish. If you try to navigate your way alone instead, like I did for most of my life, you waste so much valuable time that you're not getting back, doing something that isn't ideal. I'm currently recovering from some heavy losses I could have done without. I am smarter now, but I didn't have to learn the hard way. You know better. Actively seek out someone in real life, as well as through books, but it's better face to face, who knows what they're talking about. Hire them, persuade them into investing their time in you. A personal trainer, for example, will help keep you accountable, write you a tailored workout and diet plan, show you all the exercises, correct your form, and answer any immediate questions you might have. Ed put this so beautifully. The single greatest benefit to be reaped from finding a teacher that you can place your confidence in before you develop your own is that they will shave years of your approach and protect you from unnecessary misfortunes along the way. Your instructor has lots of experience navigating the pitfalls and potential setbacks along the many paths to your goals. Confidence in the past. I love history, in part because it teaches us a lot about human nature, our motivations and dreams. We have access to innumerable accounts of incredible successes and huge losses, with everything in between. History taught me that life isn't a straight line, it's chaotic. Pick up a few biographies and see for yourself how all these different lives played out. You can learn from other people's missteps and breakthroughs. I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, for example. I couldn't believe a single human being could achieve so many remarkable things in a single lifetime, when everybody told him he couldn't do any of it. And he's still going. Offered me a lot of invaluable lessons. The 48 Laws of Power, a collection of historical events, chock full with anecdotes of what can be done. Speaking of the past, it's essential we learn from our own mistakes, despite the fact that our ego would rather forget. If we don't learn, we will repeat the same cycle of bull all over again. Until very recently, Ed, heavyweight boxer, was unbeaten with a clean record of 13 wins, 7 KOs, and 0 fights lost. You can tell why he's an authority on confidence. Then, as happens with all champions, sooner or later, they lose a fight. Ed took his bruised ego, as he called it, took some time to reflect, recovered, recognized a weakness in his boxing style, and focused on improving on it. He sees the positive, you win or you learn mentality, and steps his game up. That's anti-fragility. This is what makes a champion. You get KO'd, you figure out what happened, you come back stronger. It's just more evidence Ed knows what he's talking about. He practices what he preaches, and his writing comes from a real place. Confidence in learning. Above all, believe that if given enough time, you can learn anything. If you don't understand something yet, you're simply lacking the necessary references. You learn to comprehend the basics, and all further knowledge builds on that foundation. Any skill can be deconstructed into several parts. You prioritize the most important parts that will put you into the top 5% of your skill, and then it's just a matter of keeping yourself accountable, getting all those hours to mastery. To become good at something is manageable in a couple of months, if not weeks, if not hours. Depends on the depth and complexity. To become one of the best takes years, but it is manageable. You see, impossible is such a limiting word. Losers love it. It makes them feel better about themselves. Everything they can't do is impossible. Let them keep lying to themselves. Limiting beliefs are most frequently regurgitated from pessimistic, insecure people. Here you are, learning about confidence, what it is, how to build more of it on technological devices that were deemed impossible only a few years ago. Don't underestimate the human spirit. And remember, there's a process to this. As Ed would say, achieving anything worthwhile takes time. Accept this truth, act like it, and your chances of reaching your goals skyrockets. In conclusion, have faith in the process while doing the work diligently. When life is hard, keep going. Good times lie ahead. Second, find an instructor. Save yourself unnecessary headaches. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and you'll get there quicker. Third, learn from your and other people's past. Try not to repeat mistakes and do the unimaginable. 4, trust in your faculties. Fancy way of saying believe in your own ability to reach desirable results. You can learn anything in due time. Since, to my knowledge, we don't live 100 different lives, we can't do absolutely everything. But we definitely can pursue our own passion, make and walk our own path. Reversal. There is such a thing as too much confidence. A bit of self-doubt can be a blessing. The insecure are so scared of taking risks they never get anywhere in life, and the foolish take risks blindly, at some point biting off more than they can chew. Confidence is only one piece of the puzzle of life, but it's easily one of the most important ones. Trust yourself.
That video was really, really, man, when I watched it, it was the truth, man. You got to have confidence in boxing. And you can learn from the, I study a lot of history, not just boxing. I'm talking about great leaders, conquerors. I study war in general. And the history repeats itself. It just changes characters. And the way you're able to live beyond your age is you got to listen to somebody who's experienced it. Like that guy that was on here, he didn't get on here to look at no cartoons. That guy will never be. He wants to learn how to kick somebody's ass, and he's trying to use my knowledge to do it. But the true essence of fighting and the art and the beauty of it is learning from the past, applying it to the present, and not making the mistakes of the future. And that's just what it is. That's why that video was so powerful to me. And it was written. It was a boxer's story. Make sure you go get that book and subscribe to that dude's channel, man. Uh, he has a lot of stuff about like the 48 laws of power, which you could apply to boxing, fighting, MMA, whatever. Because like I said, history repeats itself. All we do is change the characters. That's it. We're just constantly, time keeps constantly going forward, changing characters and keep staying the same. Everything everything changes but stays the same at the same time. Like, for instance, in boxing, right? Boxing has evolved, right? You know, the sweet science. But the sweet science is constant. The stuff that Teddy Atlas knows, Emmanuel Stewart knew. The stuff that Emmanuel Stewart knew, Freddie Roach knew. Because even though we evolve and body science and all that stuff comes into play, if you go look at Anthony Joshua, right? Anthony Joshua has the high altitude mask on. He's hitting a heavy bag. And he's lifting weights. And he looks like the Russian dude from Rocky. And what did Rocky do to the Russian dude? What did Usyk do to Anthony Joshua? Because like Tyson Fury said, boxing's pretty prehistoric and people can make it more complex than what it is. They asked Emmanuel Stewart, what about strength and conditioning coaches? And he says strength and conditioning has its place in boxing if used delicately, meaning people worry too much about the aesthetics because they want so much edge in the fight that they overdo it. And that's what AJ did. He wanted to look the part and actually be the part. And he should have got in there and got some quality sparring, because that's where you make your living as the boxers inside the ring. Why wouldn't you spend a majority of your time in it? James Toney never hit a punching bag in his life. He never skipped rope. He never did anything. You know what he did? Hours and hours and hours of sparring, which is why he was able to make adjustments, because he had seen it all already. It was nothing that could shock him in the ring. And James Toney's condition was probably the worst of all time. But he had the experience because he would do the sparring and get used to a physical body pressing up against them and banging them and coming back with shots and et cetera, et cetera. So James Toney is one of the greats because he understood this knowledge from this video early. He got it from Bill Pops Miller. And like I said, boxing evolves, but it actually stays the same. The only thing that we learn more about the human body. So we learn of shakes and stuff that can give you more stamina in the late rounds, et cetera, stuff that can make you recovery and all this stuff. But as far as the X's and O's, all that stuff is constant. The counters for certain punches are always going to be constant. It don't matter how many steroids, shakes, and chairs people jump over and push-ups that they do on their fingertips and all this other stuff. That stuff remains constant. So yeah, I just made that video, man. If you're out there, and because I see a lot of this on Facebook all the time, because I'm subscribed to a group called Danny's Boxing Basement. Check them out, man. It's a pretty good group on Facebook, man. They post a lot of old school videos. I love that group. But yeah, a lot of people be like, man, I'm 35. I don't know if I should start boxing. You absolutely should start boxing. Because as far as I know, and everybody else knows, you only get one life. I ain't never seen nobody come back and speak beyond the grave, you know. So as far as we know, you get one life and you should live it to the fullest and you should do what you want to do. Like, for instance, if I want to show a video on my page about characters and drawings, I'm gonna do it. You know why? Because it's my page. But yeah, YouTube is a crazy place, man. He's the reason why I have a Patreon now. Because I knew, because I started to see that a trend of that people that just wanted to get on my page to steal my knowledge, but they don't even particularly like me. How you get on somebody else's platform and tell them what to do? You don't make a suggestion; you tell them what to do. I have a Patreon that you're not paying for. Leave, leave, brother. But anyway, yeah, man, check out that video I got dropping with AJ. Um, I'm gonna be dropping another video next week. I've been investigating some channels, so I got that coming, and I'm gonna probably be dropping another short pretty soon. That you be on the lookout for. That one's gonna be really good. And the video about AJ was long overdue, man. I've had that video on ice for about a week now. I just been waiting to drop it, and I dropped it on my Patreon first, but it'll be available to everybody else a little bit later. But yeah, man, and to the next live, it's the Boxer Scholar, and I'm out.